Manic Anni here. I am substituting this week for Kara, and the subject is numerology. And I'm going to have to be honest and admit that a while back when I saw this subject on upcoming subjects for we hosts and subs to look at, I thought, oh, please don't need a sub on numerology week. But here I am, and as always, glad to be talking to you. And here's why the shivers went down my spine. Hours and hours and days and probably months spent with my first teacher when numerology and astrology were required as part of baby witch training. I didn't really take to either one of them, with the exception of one disclaimer I'll pick up on the end of this video. So I have a cheat sheet that I have for you because I'm going to try and get as much information as quickly as I can. Mo's video is wonderful. That could have given you enough of a taste right there that you know if you ever want to look at another video about numerology or not, you can get a flavor for it from what she said. And Mo, that was an excellent video, and I enjoyed it and learned from it. So thank you so much. Numerology reflects the universal vibrations of names, places, and dates. That the sounds of those things create a vibration, an echo in the universe, and that they also equal numbers, the numbers which then are the vibration. And the Pythagorean, or the Western numerological system, the one that you will see the most common, and the internet is full of wonderful sites for this. I did notice that, and be careful. A lot of them are phishing sites. I also noticed that, so be careful what you go to. The Western system is based on names, dates, and places. And I wrote this down so I could read it to you, that in my notes I had that it's a belief that the entire universe is composed of mathematical patterns which correspond to universal vibrations. Again, it comes back to sounds and the vibration they make. The magical applications of numerology, using the idea of vibration. If you think about when you vibrate anything, when you tone or chant, or in a system of numerology, when you believe that each number has its own vibration, its own echo in the universe, what comes into play is the as above, so below, and also then the so below, as above. That one thing reflects another and can impact the other. In numerology, it's all about cycles. Bringing each part of our name, whether it's first, middle, or last, month, date, or year of our birth, or the total of that, the place we were born, or a place that we are at the moment, bringing that all down to its numerical level, which Mo explained how that's done, is called a cycle. Now, in general, the most common cycles are determined by using your name. It's not a name you've called yourself, it's not a nickname, it's not a craft name, it's the name you were given at birth, and also the month, day, and year that you were born. And some of the different things, there's all kinds of systems, and some of the different things, that cycles that can be determined out of using your birth date, these are called resonances, which is you bring the birth date down to a certain set of numbers, and then you bring it down to one number, and that is the resonance. That number will have certain meanings. So different systems, like if you're using your name, may use only the consonants in your name, or may use only the vowels in your name, may not use repeating letters in your name. So there's all different kinds of systems and ways these numbers are added up, and it's a lot of fun to try different ways. So if we're taking your birth date, for example, here's some different resonances, which means meaning to the number that is the resulting single-digit number using birth date. There is the actual birth date resonance, which is a specific talent that will guide you through life. There is the challenges resonance, which are major and minor challenges in your life. There is the life path resonance, which is the purpose of your life. And that can be interesting in that it has the option of being expanded to 3 phases of your life, kind of a beginning, a middle, and an end phase of your life. Each one can be, a specific resonance can be determined for each one. Personal year resonance, which is what's going to happen in this upcoming year. pinnacle resonances, which are moments of transition throughout the length of your life. Now, using your name, here are some resonances that you can use numerology to provide you on using your name. Your destiny resonance, which is what you are becoming. You could say your fate. There is the essence resonance, which is every year from the date of your birth, a number is determined that gives you the pattern of that particular year. These two are connected, these two resonances. The heart's desire resonance, which is what you want the most, truly what you desire, what you want the most. And the inner dreams resonance. The inner dreams resonance is about kind of like your wildest fantasies, the things you know can never really happen, but you can dream them. Why these two, which is heart's desire and inner dreams, are connected is they both influence the path of your life. Maybe they aren't something that's specifically happening, but having these desires and having these inner dreams will influence the path you take in life. So that's understandable. There is the personality resonance, which is what you choose to show people and how people perceive you. There is the planes of expression resonance, and that is very complicated but very fascinating. I saw this in my old notes, and I've done this for myself, and it took forever to do it. And you overlap mental, physical, emotional, and intuitive characteristics about yourself with characteristics of creativity, flexibility, and balance. Did I get that right? Yep, I had to check my notes. It's very complicated but very interesting, and that one actually came out pretty much true to my character, so that was fascinating. There's the traits resonance, which is how often a particular number repeats when you're doing your setup of the numbers for your name. Because that particular trait then is something that either shows up a lot in you or it doesn't, if the number doesn't show up when you do your numbers. And there are also options for using your name and your birth date. That's most commonly used in relationship numerology. Relationship is about not just deciding if someone might be a good partner. It's also about more further exploring the relationship you are in. It could also have to do with non-romantic relationships. Your names and your birth dates are used for those. And the system can get even more complicated because some options for numerology will include places, names, and dates. And then it gets more and more pages of numbers and graphs and charts. Lots more. That was a tidbit of all the different ways that resonances come up. That the number you get to is the essence, therefore the resonance in any one of these particular situations, and lots more. That's only a tasting of all the many different ways you can do numbers on names, dates, and places. There are core numbers 1 to 9. The goal was to get your number down to a number between 1 and 9, inclusive of 1 and 9. And that's the number that you then interpret. Now, some systems, not the one I learned, also have what's called master numbers. And I was reminded of that by doing some internet search because I didn't have that in my notes because we didn't use them. And the master numbers are the repeating numbers. So 1 for 11, 2 for 22. Some systems stop there, some go out to 33, 44. What you have then is if that number comes up in the reading, it's that core number. So if 1 came up, it would be the number 1, like magnified, really, really strong. So some systems use those. You'll hear that called master numbers. My system does not. In general, it's said that the most important numerical working to do to give the quickest, most succinct one take on a resonance is the day in the month you were born. For instance, I was born on the 22nd of the month. So that is the number 2 plus 2. So that number, that resonance, is the number 4. So a quick way to get a quick take on me would be to look up the number 4 in numerological charts, and you will see both the cons, the challenges, and the positive things about number 4s like me. So I told you that I really only in my path day to day use numerology in one sense. And that is determining the day of the week I will do a working for someone. So if someone asks me to do something for them, I don't put it together and the next day I'm doing it, or that day I'm doing it, or the next time I have free time I'm doing it. I use numerology, their full name, to determine their core number, 1 to 9, and the days of the week are assigned core numbers, 1 to 9. So the question you would have right away, if you're not familiar with the system, is there are 7 days of the week. How can there then be 9 core numbers, and how do you get down to the days of the week? That's simple. The 7 days of the week all have planets aligned to them, but then Sunday has the sun and Monday has the moon. So I'm looking at my notes so I don't forget. Sunday is Uranus and the sun, and Monday is the moon and Neptune. If you're going to ask me to do a working for you, I will use your full name, given at birth, and I will come up with your core number, and I will determine what day of the week I will do the working for you. That gets me to the day of the week and the planetary influence on that day of the week that I will do the working. So for someone who's not into numerology and someone who's not into astrology, here is one place where my personal relationship to the numbers and the planets play out for me. I do workings aligned with the appropriate day of the week and planet. The other place in my life that I used numerology is, my pagan name is Annika. You know me as Annie, which is a nickname for that. My craft name, my pagan name is Annika, and it is an ancestor's name. And when that ancestor's name was done, interpreted, the resonance interpreted through numerology, it was not the number I wanted. And I changed the spelling of that name so that I got a number that is what I wanted to aspire to. It was a guidance given to me by my first priest, and we worked together on it, and I determined how I would spell the name to match the number I want. So as you can see, the power of naming, you can use numerology to name a child, name a business, name a pet. You can name endless things, making sure they come to a core number you want by shifting or changing the letters in them to equal that. And I did want to mention that because my very name, Annika, spelled the way I spell it, came down to the core number that I wanted to aspire to for my entire life. So, I know I'm coming across like I'm on caffeine because the only way I could think to get this information in was to rattle it on as fast as I could. It is fascinating, it is fun, it can be time-consuming because you can do pages and pages and pages. And I'll end this with a reference for you. I spent some time online, and like I said, you can get everything you ever need to know about building your own correspondence charts and how to do numerology online. It's an excellent way to learn about numerology. And I found a site that I like the best of the ones that I looked at for you, and it is astrology-numerology.com. I guarantee you, if you want to play with this, to do anything from a simple 1 page to a 50-page report on yourself or someone else, you will be able to do it if you spend a lot of time on that site. He has good forms, he has good charts, it is wonderful. I wish you mirth and reverence. Merry part.